Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Alright, so I welcome you to New Day. I welcome you to Friday. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon us. I welcome you to another exciting edition of From the Newspaper, streaming live from the premises of JC's Hotel, IBADAN. Good morning to you all listening to MFM 97.3, where we set the agenda and project the truth. And don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at MFM 97.3, and as you're watching us, do well to like, comment, and share. Remember, don't forget this program is in form of 3 segments. The first segment is the weather forecast report of 3 major cities in Nigeria: the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the commercial city of Lagos, and the vibrant city of Ibadan. The second segment on the show is the headlines making round of Nigerian newspaper, and as usual, it's been 4 newspapers to you every morning: the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, the Guardian newspaper, and Nigerian Tribune. The last segment on the show is the details to the headlines. My name is SHAQEEROH AKINYEMI. So we'll be moving on to the first segment on the show, which is the weather forecast report. And the first city I'm bringing on is the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. At 10 a.m. in Abuja this morning, it's intermittent clouds with 24 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. it's intermittent clouds with 25 degrees Celsius. And at 12 p.m. it's mostly cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. it's mostly cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. it's mostly cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. it's mostly cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. And at 4 p.m. it's thunderstorms with 26 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. it's intermittent clouds with 26 degrees Celsius. And at 6 p.m. it's intermittent cloud with 25 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. it's intermittent clouds with 24 degrees Celsius. And at 8 p.m. it's partly cloudy with 23 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. it's partly cloudy with 23 degrees Celsius. And at 10 p.m. it's partly cloudy with 23 degrees Celsius. Up until 11 p.m. it's partly cloudy with 23 degrees Celsius.
Audio Jungle.
The commercial city of Lagos this morning is mostly cloudy with 26 degrees Celsius, and at 11 a.m. it's thunderstorms with 27 degrees Celsius. At 12 p.m. it's cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius, and at 12 p.m. it's thunderstorms with 27 degrees Celsius. At 2 p.m. it's cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius, and at 3 p.m. it's cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. At 4 p.m. it's cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius, and at 5 p.m. it's cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. At 6 p.m. it's cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius, and at 7 p.m. it's cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 8 p.m. it's cloudy with 27 degrees Celsius. Up until 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m. is mostly cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius.
Audio Jungle.
To the last city on the first segment, which is the vibrant city of Ibadan, where we are transmitting live from. At 10 a.m. in Ibadan this morning is thunderstorms with 26 degrees Celsius. At 11 a.m. is thunderstorms with 28 degrees Celsius. And at 12 p.m. is cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m. is cloudy with 31 degrees Celsius. And at 2 p.m. is thunderstorms with 32 degrees Celsius. At 3 p.m. is thunderstorms with 31 degrees Celsius. And at 4 p.m. is cloudy with 30 degrees Celsius. At 5 p.m. is cloudy with 29 degrees Celsius. And at 6 p.m. is cloudy with 28 degrees Celsius. At 7 p.m. is cloudy with 26 degrees Celsius. And at 8 p.m. is cloudy with 25 degrees Celsius. At 9 p.m. is cloudy with 25 degrees Celsius. And at 10 p.m. is cloudy with 25 degrees Celsius. Up until 11 p.m. is cloudy with 24 degrees Celsius.
Audio Jungle.
on to the second segment, which is the headlines making round of Nigerian newspaper. And the first newspaper I'm bringing on is the Punch newspaper. The lead story on the Punch newspaper says, under pressure, Tinubu may drop controversial names from pardon list.
Audio Jungle.
And above the line of the Punch newspaper says, man born ex-girlfriend inside Oyo barracks.
Audio Jungle.
Abure Towns Oti lead Labour Party faction over infighting.
Audio Jungle.
Saudi Arabia slashes Nigeria camp slot to 67,000. PDP crisis, court freezes confection plans.
Audio Jungle.
Senate confirms Amupiton as INEC chairman.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Also moving on to the Vanguard newspaper. The lead story on the Vanguard newspaper says, INEC, in my time, loser will congratulate winner, says Amupiton, and page 5 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And a lot of riders to that story. The first rider says, get Senate's confirmation as INEC chairman, promise to work with NIMC, NCC, others to improve polls. Another says, I will admit RVE to identify glitches that undermine 2023 elections. Another says it will never in Tinubu's election legal team. And last rider says, Electoral Act amendment server setback. And page 5 has the details to that stories.
Audio Jungle.
Says National Grid loses 4,091 MWh worth in September, and page 19 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
While we have not released inmates pardon by Tinubu, says AGF, and page 2 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Another story on the Vanguard newspaper says, Soda takes central stage as Vanguard's third mental health submit host today, and page 7 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Presidential pardon. Macaulay shouldn't have been plump with ex-convict, says family, and page 10 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle. Users rapid data depletion threatens telecom sector growth, and page 14 has the detail to that story. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Quickly riders to that story. Sector's $1 billion gain at risk. Subscriber accuses telecoms of manipulation, threatening class action. Illustrator says, telecoms dismissed allegation as baseless, and page 14 has the detail to that stories. Rivers revokes 134 billion naira contract awarded by Hiba's other refund, and page 12 has the detail to that story. Story on the Vanguard newspaper says 2027 APC molests have taken over INC, scribe cries out, and page 19 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
To the Guardian newspaper. The list story on the Guardian newspaper says, more music, less manifesto. Outpress singers override party agenda. Obi, wicked trade world over 2027 presidential capacity to lead, and page 29 has the detail to that story. Another story on the Guardian newspaper says, aviation expert kicks as Kalu accusing pilot of smoking marijuana, and page 29 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Every reliance on oil, domestic debt exposed Nigeria to financial risks, IMF funds, in page 6 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Still on the Guardian newspaper, another story says, NMA says Kano fit for trial as One is a group's advocate dialogue, and page 28 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Defections, legal dispute rocks PDP as APC governors project strength unity in Kebbi, and page 6 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Presidential pardon under review, says AGF as Macaulay's family pushbacks, and page 7 has the detail to that story. And the last story on the Guardian newspaper says, World Food Day, federal government tax of support for local farmers, equitable distribution, and page 7 has the detail to that story. Also moving on to the last newspaper on the second segment, which is Nigerian Tribune. And the lead story on Nigerian Tribune this morning says, my agenda for INEC, says Amokwito, and page 3 has the details to that story.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
us to that story as Tennis confirmed his nomination, says improvement of logistic, Electoral Offences Commission imperative, speak on beavers, IREV may consider drones for logistics at the last rider says, credible election will promote public confidence, it declares, and page 3 has the detail to that stories. Presidential prerogative of mercy at rival stage, not final, says AGF. MP 6 has the detail to that story. Nigerian Tribune says River Government Council 134 billion naira secretariat reconstruction contract award by IBADAN, and page 3 has the detail to that story. We held Osun local government fund. State AGF Council on behalf of local government's Abuja cost rules, and page 4 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Nigerian Tremendous story says Nnamdi Kanu's ailment not life-threatening, freeze to stand trial, NMA tells court, and page 22 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Kongi government raised bandit camp, arrest 2 suspects, and page 25 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Hajj. NACOM meets states to review fear as Saudi Arabia reduced Nigerian slot to 67,000, and page 6 has the detail to that story. Shaken by defection, ready for landmark convention in Ibadan, State Fin 3, and page 5 has the detail to that story. And there is one rider to that story that says, court reaffirm order to parties to take any steps on PDP convention, and page 5 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
Ekiti has enjoyed rapid economic growth in 3 years, says Oyebanji, and page 22 has the detail to that story.
Audio Jungle.
And there are 2 riders to that story. New school after former speaker Afinye, and the last rider says minority leader dumps SDP for APC, and page 22 has the detail to that stories.
Audio Jungle.
Alright, so we have come to the end of the second segment. Before we divert into the last segment, let's go on a break. Stay tuned, I'll be right back.
City of Ibadan for your next and upcoming event, whether marriage engagement, wedding reception, anniversaries, conferences, seminars, or birthday. The Ace Hotels and Conference Center is affordable and fully equipped with all imaginable ultra-modern facilities for your total convenience without headache, security, power, environment, parking space, and royal service by their staff. All roads lead to the Aces Hotel and Conference Center today at kilometer 2.5 Ijokodo Akbete Akufo Road, Akere, Ibadan. For booking and more information, call 080-8746-7420, 080-9744-1898, or 080-2869-0012. The Aces Hotels and Conference Center, where comfortability speaks than words.
Ìgbà tó tó bá ní ṣe baálé ọba gbọ́migbọ́mi, kọ̀ǹkọ̀ tó tún kọ̀ǹkọ̀ ní ṣe ọba wọn lálẹ́ odò. Bó jẹ́ tìròyìn tó pójú owó, orin tó dùn ún gbọ́ létí, àṣà, ẹ̀fẹ̀ àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí lọ́lọ́kanjọ̀kan. Ìkànnì MFM rédíò ọba ló jẹ́ láwùjọ rédíò. Ni ó mọ̀ pera rẹ̀ lódù bó bá jẹ́ níbi tí ká bá ní ra mọ́tò láti òkè òkun tàbí ó fẹ́ ra ojúlówó mọ́tò ilé tí ó já lálòpẹ́ iléeṣẹ́ mọ́tò Onabis Automobile òní òye àkànṣí eléyìí tó kalẹ̀ sí kìlómítà 8 Old Ife Road àdójúkọ ilé ìtajà àgbàlódé Brent sọ́ọ̀mì nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn bóyá ẹ̀yin fẹ́ ra mọ́tò tàbí ẹ fẹ́ gbé mọ́tò ránṣẹ́ láti ilẹ̀ òkèrè sórílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà kódà orí ọ̀fẹ́ wà láti bá yín ṣe àmójútó láti bá yín ṣe àyẹ̀wò sí mọ́tò yín iléeṣẹ́ Onabis Automobile ohun gẹ́gẹ́ ni mò ń pè níyàn o ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọn ni 0803 371 0636 0803 371 0636 Onabis Automobile boom 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 boom.
Ẹ̀yin ènìyàn mi lọ́kùnrin àti lóbìnrin lọ́mọdé àti lágbà orúkọ mi ni olóyè Dr. Lérè Pàímọ́ Ìdánilọ́lá mẹ́fà mo ń fi àsìkò ìròyìn wípé kẹ́ máa gbọ́ FM radio and TV nígbà gbogbo torí pé ẹ máa kọ́gbọ́n bẹ̀ ẹ máa nímọ̀ ẹ máa lóye gbogbo ìgbà títẹ́ fi ń gbóhùn létí ojú tẹ́ fi ń wọ̀n gbé fọ́ ẹ máa gbọ́ wọn ẹ máa ṣe iṣẹ́ tí yín náà ní dísẹ́mọ̀ ẹ lọ́wọ́ ẹ ṣé púpọ̀ mo dúpẹ́ àti.
So welcome back to the show. It's still from the newspaper. Don't forget you can watch us live on Facebook at MFM 97.3. As watching us, do well to like, comment, and share. We are now in the last segment of From the Newspaper this morning, which are the details to the headlines. And the first story I'll bring in on says Tinubu may drop controversial names from pardon list. There were indications on Thursday that some names of the presidential pardon list approved by the Council of State, as presented by the Attorney General of Federation, Prince Lateef Fagbemi, may be dropped. The development comes in growing public outcry over the inclusion of certain high-profile and violent offenders among those pardoned by the President Bola Tinubu. The presidential pardon, usually granted to mark nation occasion, was almost meant to diagnose prison and promote reconciliation. The presidential statement noted that the decision followed commendation by the Presidential Advisory Committee on the Progressive of Mercy, chaired by the Attorney General. It added that the list beneficiary was divided into six categories: those granted pardon, posthumous pardon, including the Ogoni 9, the victim of Ogoni 9 honored, the presidential clemency beneficiary, inmates recommended for reduced to term of imprisonment, and inmates on death row whose sentences were commuted to life imprisonment. However, the latest episode was ignited debate over the transparency and integrity of the Nigerian pardon process. On Thursday, Fagbemi, however, declared that the presidential progressive of mercy recently announced by the president was still under review and had not been finalized. Controversy has continued to try the inclusion of some names, with Anti-Graft and Security Agency, including the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency, reportedly moving out to release some individuals on the list. Fagbemi, at the Council of the State meeting, convened on October 9, 2025, had listed illegal minors, white-collar vexes, drug offender, foreigners, Man General Mama Vista, Professor Maga Jigaba. The fulfilled list were released in a statement from the presidency on Saturday, October 11, 2025. While some names of politically exposed persons on the list, like Abat Macaulay, Farouk Lawan, among others, did not raise dust, the inclusion of certain individuals linked to violent crimes and security branches sparked outrage. One of the names was Mariam Sandra, who was convicted in 2017 for stabbing her husband, Biliamino Bello, to death. While some members of Biliamino's family rejected the pardon of Mariam, the father, Alhaji Bello Issa, alongside Mariam's fathers, Alhaji Gaba Sandra, addressed a press conference to accept the presidential pardon. The president also pardoned Major Alabi Akubo, who was sentenced to life imprisonment for illegal possession of prohibited firearms, among others, and one Kelvin Prosper, who kidnapped terror span Delta, Edo River, Abia, Benue, and Oyo State, with detention of camp in Wari and Kokori Delta, Benue City, Edo, and Abia State. The name of the convicted for killing security agents, illicit drug courier, and others tried money laundering, among others offenders, were created on the list. The uproar has reported promote the review of the clemency process, with the presidency considering dropping controversial names that granted public criticism. AKINYEMI pledged to integrate HIV service in emergency response. The Director General of National Agency for the Control of AIDS, Dr. Temitope Ilori, and the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Mrs. Zubaida Umar, has pledged to strengthen collaboration and integrate HIV prevention and support intervention in emergency and disaster response system. A statement released by NACA on Friday noted that the pledge followed a courtesy visit by Dr. Ilori to NEMA headquarters in Abuja on Thursday, aimed at exploring partnership opportunities in humanitarian response and ensuring vulnerable populations, including internally displaced persons, has access to HIV infection tools, testing service, and treatment drugs crises. The meeting underlined both agency commitments to joint efforts in safeguarding the health and resilience of vulnerable communities, signaling a new phase of collaboration between disaster management and public health interventions in Nigeria. Speaking in the meeting, Dr. Ilori lauded NEMA for critical role in coordinating national emergency responses, emphasized the need for emboldened HIV intervention within disaster management frameworks. On her part, Mrs. Umaru described the visit as a timely and strategic, noting that both agencies share the goal of building resilient communities. Umaru acknowledged that in managing IDP camps, health assessments rarely consider HIV status and noted the need to explore possible integration of HIV testing, care, and prevention in such settings while addressing issues for stigma and confidentiality. She also expressed interest in NACA preventive tools and medication, recounting the long-term IDP settlements often present contexts where adult cohabitation occur, thereby increasing the importance of access to HIV prevention measures.
Audio Jungle.
APC governors meet in Kebbi. Members of the Progressive Congress Forum on Thursday might held a closed-door meeting at the council chamber of the Kebbi State Government House in Birnin Kebbi, chaired by the Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma. The gathering brought together governors elected on the All Progressive Congress platform. The top agenda of the meeting is to discuss pressing national issues and other internal matters, particularly to the ruling party. As reported by the Channel TV today, the APC national chairman, Netewai Yelewada, although Hindi Kebbi did not participate in the meeting, announcing his arrival in a statement on Thursday. Yelewada said, apart from the PGF meeting, he would attend the inauguration of the Tinubu Karun Gowda Movement for Community State Secretariat.
Audio Jungle.
Convention plans. The Federal High Court in Abuja has reaffirmed its earlier order directing all parties to maintain the status quo regarding the forthcoming People's Democratic Party National Convention slot for November 15 and 16, 2025 in Ibadan, Oyo State. Presiding Judge Justice James Omotosho on Thursday held that the previous order remained valid and must not be violated by any party pending determination of the substantive suit. Justice Omotosho warned that any attempts to take action capable of undermining the court's authority of rendering its eventual decision ineffective would attract consequential action. The warning followed a complaint by the PDP counsel, Chief Charis Uche-san, who told the court that his client was restrained by the subsistency order and therefore sought an expedited hearing. In a response, the judge assured all parties that judgment in the case would be delivered before the end of October, stressing that no party would have been permitted to employ delay tactics. The court fixed Monday, October 20 for the definite hearing of the organization summons filed by 3 aggressive PDP members against the Independent National Electoral Commission and its orders. The plaintiffs are Austin Nwanchukwu, Imo PDP chairman, Ama Ambranana, Abia PDP chairman, and Tona George, PDP secretary, South-South. They are seeking to stop party-planned national convention scheduled for November 15 and 16, 2025 in Ibadan, Oyo State, where the new national office are to be elected. Listed defendants in the suit are INEC and PDP Senator Samuel Anyawu, National Secretary, Umar Betru, National Organizing Secretary, the National Working Committee, NWEC, and the National Executive Committee of the party. At the last sitting in the court, joined Umar Damagun, Ali Odefa, and Emmanuel Ogidi as the 7th and 9th defendants following the successful application for joinder. In a suit marked, they contended that the party failed to hold the required Congress to elect delegates for planning convention, thereby invalidating any notice issued to the INEC. The plaintiff also asked the court to restrain INEC from recognizing or giving effect to any notice or outcome of the PDP convention unless it concluded its fulfillment compliance with 1999 Constitution Amendment, the Electoral House 2022 and INEC 2022 regulations and guidelines for political parties. They further seek order restraining the PDP and official from holding any National Executive Committee, National Caucus or Working Committee meeting without due notice from the National Secretary. Justice Omotosho directed all parties to ensure their processes by October 17 to ensure a smooth hearing. During Thursday proceeding, the PDP was represented by the Chief Charis Uche, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and the party National Legal Advisor, Kamaldeen Ajibade's son. The judge, however, directed both lawyers to final formal papers to enable the court to determine the party's proper legal representative in the case.
Audio Jungle.
confirms Amopitan as the INEC chairman. The Senate has confirmed Professor Joas Amopitan as the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. The Red Chamber confirmed Amopitan after a voice note conducted by the state president, Godwin Akpabio, and after undergoing screening and answering question process by the lawmaker. Amopitan had earlier arrived at the National Assembly complex earlier, exchanged pleasantries with senators. He was accompanied to the chamber by the governor of Kogi State, Ahmed Otodo, and other dignitaries. Reckless and rotate tragedy. Amopitan was allowed into Halal chamber after the Senate leader, Senator Okoyemi Babajide, APC Ekiti Central, moved to the other 12 which seats aside allowed visitors into the chamber and was seconded by the Senate Minority Leader, Senator Habamaru, PDP Benue South. The state president, Godwin Akpabio, welcomed Amopitan, his family member and well-wishers to Red Chamber, condemning them for their presence. Before introducing himself to the senator for the question and answer session to take off, Akpabio disclosed to his colleague that the nominees has been cleared by the Office of the National Security Advisor after vetting. The Senate President also said the Office of the Inspector General of Police, having done its fingerprint search on him, cleared him and said they had to condemn criminal record with the police. The screening exercise condemned about the 12:55 p.m. following Akpabio's opening remark, during which the outlined procedure to be followed by the lawmakers in considering the nominees' credentials. The screening session focused on Amopitan's vision for credible election, his plan for institutional forum within INEC, and measures to deepen the use of technology in Nigeria's electoral process. Following his confirmation by the state, Amopitan will oversee preparation for upcoming obstacle governorship election and he laid the groundwork for 2027 general election. Punchola report that President Bola Tinubu has nominated Amopitan as a professor of law from the University of Jos to succeed Professor Mahmoud Yakub. The presidential letter conveying Amopitan's nomination was read on the floor to the state by the Akpabio during plenary on Tuesday. A senior advocate of Nigeria and a former dean of the Faculty of Law at the University of Jos, Amopitan is widely regarded for his expertise in constitutional and international law.
Audio Jungle.
Man burns his girlfriend inside Oyo barracks. The Oyo State Police Command has confirmed the arrest of a man, Lawal Farouk, who allegedly set fire to his ex-lover after their relationship went sour. Punch Metro learned on Thursday that the incident happened in a military barrack in Ibadan, the state capital. The counter-insurgency expert, Zazagola Makama, who shared the details on the incident on X, disclosed that the suspect claimed he had the victim as taking the oath never to separate. However, the suspect was said to have become enraged after the romantic relationship between the two broke down. Enraged by the situation, the suspect allegedly dosed with the victim to petrol before setting ablaze. Following the incident, military personnel at the barracks reportedly rescued the victim and rushed her to the hospital before arresting the suspect. When reacting to an inquiry posed by the Punch correspondent by the Telecom on Thursday, the spokesperson for Oyo State Police Command, Adewale Osifeso, confirmed the incident. Similarly, in January 2023, Punch Metro reported that the middle-aged man strangled and then set his lover ablaze over indemnity accusation in Rivers State. Also, Punch Metro reported in April 2023 that 43-year-old man was arrested in Ogun State for setting the apartment of his ex-lover ablaze when she refused to reconcile. Such cases reflect in a broader pattern of domestic violence in Nigeria, often driven by emotional, psychological, and economic distress.
Audio Jungle.
Story on the show this morning says Katsina unveiled hybrid bus to boost eco-friendly transport. The Katsina State government has unveiled a flat hybrid buses as part of the Governor Diko Rada's efforts to modernize public transportation and promote environmental sustainability across the state. The hybrid electric bus is powered by the electric motor and smaller than normal conventional internal combustion engine. Development comes 1 year after the governor led the delegation to China to seal partnership with the leading agriculture equipment manufacturers. Speaking at the unveiling ceremony held at the facility of the Chinese firm, Woko Nigeria Limited in Abuja, president of Benton Equipment Company and a key partner in the project, Oshi Bernard, condemned the governor for commitment to sustainable development. He described rather as a hard-working industrious, focused and dedicated, adding that the project reflected his passion for improving lives of the ordinary citizens and empowering the youth in Katsina State. Bernard also explained that the new hybrid buses, which run on both fuel and electricity, were designed to reduce carbon emissions, cut fuel costs, and improve mobility